Hello everyone, my name is Daria, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be doing the BookTube Real Talk tag. Now this tag was really popular and going around BookTube about 2 years ago, I think, and at that time I wanted to do it, but I don't think I had the experience. I definitely did not have the experience to actually answer these questions. I've mentioned this a lot in previous videos, but for the first 2 years when I had this channel from 2017 to 2019-ish, I was really not that dedicated to it. I barely posted any content on this channel. I didn't have a Bookstagram or a BookTwitter account. I was just completely unplugged from the community as a whole. But since that time, a lot has changed. I've changed, this channel has changed. I feel like I'm established enough and comfortable enough to answer these questions to the best of my ability and totally honestly. So let's go ahead and get started with the first question, which is what's something nobody told you about BookTube before you started your channel? I started watching BookTube in 2013, 2014, and at that point, at least as a viewer, I felt like there wasn't really a set script for what it took to be a BookTuber. I feel like at that point, it was still a fairly new thing. I honestly think that I just thought it was way easier than it actually is, and I remember thinking that it would be so easy to start a channel and have instant success. At the time, in 2013, 2014, I was just a viewer. I wasn't really part of the book community, but in my mind, it was really only made up of a handful of really big booktubers. We're talking Ariel, Christine, Jessie, Kat, that whole group of people. I thought that, if I could just make a video and start a channel, I would instantly become that successful and that well known. I really wish that someone had told me to just chill out. It's not going to be instantaneous. Maybe for some people it is, but for a lot of people it isn't. And it takes time and hard work. And a lot of the people that I admired, they had slow growth too. The next question is, what is your opinion on typical BookTube videos like TBRs, wrap-ups, hauls, etc.? I don't really have an opinion. Of those three that are mentioned, I think wrap-ups are my personal favorite, and I think the most functional and practical of the three. For me at least, TBR videos are just kind of bullshit. I am such a mood reader, and my moods just change all the fucking time. For a straight month, I could be reading nothing but thrillers and mysteries, and then suddenly I want to read a romance, and then the next day I want to pick up a fantasy, and then in the middle of the fantasy, I'm like, oh hey, let me just read a bunch of graphic novels and manga for no reason. TBRs just don't work for me. They'll never work for me. Anyone who makes TBRs every month and actually sticks to them, hats off to you. I admire you. I respect you. You're a better person than me. It's honestly really hard for me to answer this question because these are videos that I don't typically do on my channel. Even wrap-ups, which I really like and think are very practical. You're just telling people the books that you've read and telling them your opinions on them. It's why we do what we do. But even then, I suck at making them. I don't do monthly wrap-ups. I'm really bad at it. I will just do random wrap-ups whenever I'm on Goodreads and realize that I've read a lot of books that I haven't actually talked about on this channel. I think another reason that I'm so inconsistent with wrap-ups is because a lot of the books that I read, I'm already doing dedicated videos about. I personally find it unnecessary and repetitive for me to have a reading vlog where I'm reading a book and I'm telling you my thoughts as I'm reading it and I'm telling you what I rated it, and then I talk about the same damn book in a wrap-up. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's why I think I'm just gonna stick to the random wrap-ups whenever I realize that I need to do one. The third question asks about an assumption that you had before starting a BookTube channel and whether or not it was proven correct. I think I already kind of covered this with the first question where I was assuming that there would just be instantaneous success and recognition and that I would have 100,000 subscribers, no problem. Honestly, I think back on that and I just have to laugh. Who the fuck did I think I was? Who? It's honestly not only arrogant, but just completely unrealistic. Because if you think about the grand scheme of things, BookTube is a very, very small niche on YouTube as a whole. If you look at the biggest channels, they have around 400,000, 500,000 subscribers. So if you think about it, if 400,000 subscribers is kind of the threshold, chances are you're gonna fall somewhere below that, and that doesn't mean that you're not successful. I think another assumption that I constantly have proven wrong is that the BookTube community is small. And it is, in the grand scheme of things, if you're comparing us to the makeup community or whatever, we're pretty small. But at the same time, I'm constantly on Twitter or YouTube and discovering people that I had no idea existed, and I see that they have all these subscribers and all these friends, and they're friends with people that I know, and I'm how did I never hear about this person? It's always funny to me, and I always love it when I just see random people who are just having a ball, having fun, they're making friends, and I'm just shit, I didn't even know about you, and I'm sure that they think the same thing about me. Now this next question, what is something that you've done that has helped grow your audience, is a hard one for me to answer. And I feel like I'm gonna take advantage of this question to kind of go on a bit of a ramble and tangent, if you will. Now the first video of mine that ever really blew up, i.e. got more than like 2,000 views, was my review of After by Anna Todd. And there's so many factors like outside of myself that contribute to that video doing well. One, it's that the movie was coming out and so people were interested in knowing what it was all about. It was also a rant review, and those always get good views. I think especially at the time when I published that review, like 2018, 2019, they were especially popular. Rant reviews have always been popular, but I think especially then they were kind of this like new, fresh like topic and genre of videos that people were making. After that, I think I thought like, oh, okay, like this is the moment where like suddenly all my views are gonna go up. And then the next video that I posted just got like my regular amount of views. And then the same thing happened with the next one. And I was like, well, what's happening? Like why? Honestly, I have like no idea how the algorithm works, but from what I've heard, if you have a video that blows up, you will consistently grow if like the next video that you post is also similar to that topic. So if I had posted another video about After, then I'm sure I would have seen like bigger growth. Not that, you know, I didn't have good growth. And I think after that video came out, there were a lot of times where I would like private it and unprivate it because I didn't want the most popular video on my channel to be about me not liking a book. Like I didn't want to be known. I didn't want my brand to be the fact that I don't like After. And I think the video that kind of like pulled me out of that was my Emma analysis video because I love Jane Austen. And it was an idea that I'd had since the beginning of my channel that I wanted to do some kind of like adaptation analysis with Austen. And so to have that video like do well was just so like vindicating to me and validating, which I don't know which word is right. Validating, vindicating, whatever. I was both the things. And I was like, okay, so like people enjoy it when I critique things, but then people also like it when I talk about things that I love. And that's great. Like, thank God. And even beyond the Austen video, like my most watched video on this channel is my Little Women analysis. Once again, it was like right topic at the right time. The movie had just come out. I was talking about a character that was very controversial, and I didn't know that everyone was gonna end up loving Amy in that movie, but they did, so that was like good for me and my video. It boosted it in the algorithm. And the fact that it was so well received, I was like, okay, like I can do the things that I'm really passionate about that I'm not sure will take off, and then they will. And that's like, it was so incredible. And to this day, I'm like so happy that that is my most viewed video. I honestly don't know if I can give like concrete advice on like how to grow your channel because I feel like I've just been like all over the place. For example, like a month or two ago when Shadow and Bone was just releasing, my channel was doing really well. I was posting reaction videos, analysis videos, and my views were going up, my subscriber count was going up. And then I took a bit of a break and came back with like regularly scheduled programming, and the views dipped a little bit in comparison to what they were. And that was discouraging, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's not fun going into that YouTube Studio like app and seeing just like down arrows all the time. It really hits you like in the fucking gut, in the fucking self-esteem. I honestly think that for the majority of people, that's just kind of how it goes. Like you're gonna have some months when you're like popping the hell off and it's incredible and you're like, yes, this is amazing. Like you're freaking high off the momentum and all the green arrows. And then you'll have other times where things are not doing so well and you're just kind of coasting, doing your thing until, you know, the next video blows up and you don't know why. A lot of times it's just like the algorithm, which you have no control over. And, you know, I figure that you just kind of have to continue and like do what you enjoy. I think that all booktubers and YouTubers will make some content that is like entirely for them. Like you're doing this just because you want to. You don't give a shit if anyone looks at it. And then there are other videos that you make with your audience more in mind and you're like, okay, I think this video will probably, they'll like it a bit more than others. If we're using my channel as an example, I think the Austen adaptation series was like total passion project for me. Like there are 3 videos I've made in that series. One of them did really well. The other 2 did like okay, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep making them and I love every single one of them. I think my persuasion video did like the worst so far. It did kind of like middling to fair, but I still fucking loved making that video and I can't wait to make more in the series. And then if we're looking at my channel and talking about content that I made sort of with the audience more in mind, we can definitely bring up my like reading the entire After series video. Like there was a part of me that was like, yeah, okay, this is probably gonna do well because my After review did really well and it's a popular topic. But I think those videos that you make with your audience in mind, you also have to enjoy them yourself. Like when I made that After video, yes, I was stressed the fuck out and I was pissed at everything that was happening in that book, but I had fun making that video. Like I had fun editing it and putting it together and trying to make it as entertaining as possible and doing all like the jump cuts and like the wording and everything. Like I had fun making that video. And I think that's the key. I think that no matter what content you make, you have to be enjoying both of them. Otherwise, it's just going to suck the life out of you. The next question is, what is a common mistake that you see new booktubers make or that you have made? And I honestly don't know if I can say like I've seen people make mistakes because I I don't know, I feel like there are almost like no mistakes. Like unless that you're like a horrible person and being a piece of shit and like lying and scamming on the internet, I don't think that there's really like mistakes. I think that there are just things that you do that work and don't work, and you just try to navigate your way through it. I would say, and I've said this many times, is don't be afraid to like experiment. Like if there's an idea that you really want to do, just do it. Even if you feel like you don't have the editing skills, you don't have the right setup, do it anyway. Like I mentioned before, I wanted to do my Austen adaptation analysis series from the very beginning, and I didn't do it. There were so many ideas that I had of creative things I wanted to do, even if like really simple things I wanted to do, and I just didn't do them because I felt like, oh, I can't do that yet, or I don't have the skills or whatever. Guess what? When I made my first Emma video, I still didn't think that I had like the proper equipment, the proper editing skills, whatever to make that video. Same with the Little Women video. But I did it anyway. The next question is, what is your opinion on working with publishers and sponsorships on BookTube? My opinion is, if you can make money, fucking do it. Go for it. I am not going to get upset at anyone making $1. That being said, I have been approached with a few sponsorships. I'm not going to say a lot because, you know, a handful, I'd say. And I've rejected or said no to most of them, honestly, like 95% of them. I feel like a lot of the times I get approached with things that just have like nothing to do with my channel and that I personally am not interested in or don't really want to try. I think that as long as people are being upfront with the fact that they're sponsored, as long as they're promoting products that they like genuinely believe in and use themselves, I don't see a problem with it. I don't see a problem if every single video that someone posts is sponsored. When it comes to working with publishers, I'm going to tread carefully because I am very like green in this area. Like I don't really know a lot at all. I'm not really at the point where big publishing companies are like sending me like free arcs and unsolicited material and like coming to me asking for like a paid review. The only experience I've had personally where I was sent a book by a publisher and I was paid to read it and review it was my Ember in the Ashes vlog. Honestly, the big reason that I took that on is because I was pretty sure that I was gonna love it anyway, and I did. Like an Ember in the Ashes is perfection. And when it comes to like the question that people have about like whether or not a reviewer can give like an honest review of something if they're being paid to talk about it, if a person is paid by a company and they didn't like a book, I do think that maybe they'll clean up their language a bit and they'll be a bit more diplomatic when they're talking about what they didn't like. It doesn't mean that they're lying and saying that they liked it. They're just, you know, presenting it in a more polite way. And I don't really see anything wrong with that, honestly. I think that when you are being sponsored by a publisher or you're being sent a book to review, you know, I myself would even want to be like, you know, a bit more professional and, you know, actually like state the reasons why I didn't like something. Whereas in a vlog, I might be like, yeah, it was shitty, I didn't like it. I'm not going to say that about a book that I was sent to review, you know, but yeah, I don't think that anyone's like lying about whether or not they liked a book. I think maybe they'll just be a bit nicer when they present the reasons why they didn't like something. The final question is, do you think BookTube is dying? And I would have to say no, but I think it's definitely evolved and changed. If we're looking back at like 2013, 2014, when I was first watching BookTube, like skits were a really big thing. There were like all these different tag videos going around, and BookTube was definitely very white. In some ways, it still very much is. I think naturally as the community expands and grows to include more people, more voices, more experiences and perspectives, it's going to shift and change, and that is a good thing. I'm honestly not even sure if BookTube can die. I mean, I think as long as there are books being published and people reading them, there's going to be somebody on this website talking about them. So that is it for me today, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I definitely want to hear y'all's opinions because I feel like it's so different, like answering these questions as like a viewer of BookTube versus like a creator. I know that if I had tried to answer these questions when I was just like a viewer, I would have had totally different answers. So I'd really love to know what you guys think. If you want to find me or follow me anywhere else on social media, all the links will be down below. I love you all very dearly, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!